Hi, my name is James Hornsby, and I am a student at Full Sail University right now trying to acquire my bachelor's degree in recording arts. Marvin Gaye's album, What's Going On, is probably one of the most influential albums of all time. It has influenced hundreds, if not thousands, of bands and solo musicians to go against the grain and not just conform to what everybody else might be singing. Marvin was not scared to sing about his true feelings. He wasn't worried about whether or not his career was going to start spinning downward. He didn't care if it was going to ruin him altogether. He wanted to sing what was on his chest. And when I think of a band who kind of does the same thing, I really think of Rise Against. At a time like this, when we have soldiers still over in Iraq fighting to save our country, some would say that you probably shouldn't sing about going against that. I mean, you might have fans that just stop listening to you altogether, or, I mean, you never know what might happen. But Rise Against really sticks to what they believe in. And a song that really stands out to me in kind of rebellion to the war is their song called Hero of War. Hero of War is a song about a soldier who didn't really know what he was going to do with his life, so he goes over and fights in the war, and everybody thinks of a veteran as a hero, but really, a lot of the times after being over there and the things that they've seen, their life is ruined, just like Marvin Gaye's brother Frankie. I mean, he didn't say his life was ruined, but when he got back, he couldn't find work, and he was just horrified with the things that he had seen and had to do over during duty.
A hero of war, is that what they see? Just medals and scars, so damn proud of me. And I brought home that flag, now it gathers dust, but it's the flag that I love, it's the only flag I trust.
The studio musicians that helped to create What's Going On called themselves the Funk Brothers. Their primary asset was that they all shared roots in modern jazz. Now, Gaye, he brought two members into the Funk Brothers, Bongo Brown, who had a really good percussion ability, and then also Jack Ashford. He also played percussion in there. He played the tambourine and a little bit of Latin percussion, and together it just brought this awesome blend of jazz percussion musicians that just you can recognize as soon as you listen to one of Marvin Gaye's songs. And on top of the excellent instrumentation, the lyrical themes on What's Going On were so different than what what the popular music was at that time. A lot of songs were just about love and jazz, and even Marvin Gaye himself. I mean, he was the sex symbol of like the late '60s for his love songs and his awesome voice, but ever since his younger brother Frankie came back and told him horror stories of the war, his lyrical things came to be like about protest, like protesting the war and police brutality, and he really went out on a limb to change up the style and even go against the Motown norm that had been produced there over years. So it's really cool to see how he changed the lyrical themes for bands and years to come. As an aspiring musical engineer and producer, I think the coolest thing about What's Going On is how the doubling of Marvin Gaye's lead vocals was a complete accident. I mean, the engineer was just trying to play back the two-track mix on mono channels so that he could audition each vocal so Marvin Gaye could compare which one he liked better, and he actually ended up playing them both at the same time. So they actually just ended up keeping those and used those, so it ended up becoming pretty much Marvin Gaye's trademark vocal sound. And from a production standpoint, that's really cool because, I mean, look at the albums that came after and look how well they did just because of, like, they stuck to the plan on what was really working. I feel like I don't want to, like, say you should always stick to the plan. I mean, that's pretty much pop music, and I'm not a big fan of pop music, but I mean, for them, I mean, they even went against pop, what pop was then, and it worked out. So I think that's really cool from a production and engineering standpoint. Prior to taking this class and sitting down and taking the time to listen to this great album, I had never really been exposed to that much Marvin Gaye. Like, I could hear that I've heard some of these songs before, but I mean, I never sat back to like listen to some of the production and engineering tricks and also to learn the backstory of where some of these lyrical things came from. I just think it's really cool how one man and his couple stories was able to change the way that music is written and was written back then, and some of the tricks from the production standpoint are still used today. I think that's really cool. And that's all I have for Marvin Gaye's What's Going On.